welcome to lesson 2 of module 3, where we're talking all about keyword match types. I'll explain what a keyword match type is in a moment. But first, just a quick recap. Last session was really just an introduction to say keywords are super important. Let's spend some time to get to know them, get to know how they work and how best to implement them. So, in Google, a match type is what determines what search terms a user types into Google show your ads. It's as simple as that. It will decide if a search matches a keyword in your account and therefore if your ads should show. And there are 5 types of match that we can have. I'm going to go through each of them in detail in a moment, but just at a summary level, and I've put them on the screen showing the way you will see them in AdWords. So exact match always has a square bracket around it. Phrase match keywords are always shown with speech marks around them, quotation marks. Broad match modified, which technically isn't a match type but is a subset of broad match. You'll see a modified keyword by the addition of the plus sign. We have broad match and we have negative, always denoted with a minus. So let's have a look at those match types in more detail, understand what they are, what they match and what they don't, how they're used, and look at them at a bit more detail at each. So exact match. Exact match keywords are always shown in AdWords with the square brackets around the keyword. And exact matches is what you might expect it to be. If a user types in a search term and it exactly matches your keyword in your list, let's go square brackets around it, your ad is eligible to show. However, exact match isn't quite so much exact anymore. It used to be, and there used to be an option. That option got taken away a little while ago now. So now an exact match keyword will also include plurals, misspellings, acronyms and stemmings of the same word. So let me show you some examples. In the example for the key phrase cosmetic dentist, that's what we said. We want our ad to only be considered to be shown when someone types in the word cosmetic dentist. However, it will match cosmetic dentist. It will also match cosmetic dentists. So your ads could be shown for a plural. It will also match cosmetic dentistry, which is a stemming. So if you didn't want to show for dentists or dentistry, there are steps we have to take to handle that. And they're separate, and we'll look at that with negatives. But for exact match, consider an exact match to be something where you know or you're highly confident that that key phrase is likely to be a prospective buyer for your product. You should be able to speak directly to that individual, to their wants and needs, because you know exactly what they put in. You then can show them a message that's highly tailored to their needs and take them to a landing page when they click your ad that equally reflects it. You should always convert highest on exact match terms because you can see into the user's mind. That's why exact match terms are very, very valuable in an AdWords campaign. These are laser targeted. Moving outwards slightly, we've got phrase match. Now, phrase match is always shown in AdWords with quotation marks around the key phrase. And it's essentially your exact keyword and closed variants like we saw before a moment ago, but with additional words before or after. So it's less precise. We now know that our keyword is included in the search phrase the user typed, but there are other things around it, before or after, not in between, before or after. Naturally, because we have now more flexibility, we will see higher search volumes than we saw for exact because we now have more options. Before, we only had cosmetic dentist. Now if we look at the same keyword phrase on an example using cosmetic dentist for phrase match, we would now also match best cosmetic dentist. We'd match local cosmetic dentist, Tampa, and a whole range of other things, providing it includes the word cosmetic dentist or cosmetic dentistry, dentists, those stemmings, those variations we saw before, provided they're in, then we will match and our ads will show. So we can't quite so clearly speak to directly to that user. We don't know exactly what they typed in. We've got a clue, we know at least partially what they typed in, but we're now less able to speak directly to their mind. So we have to think about this person in a slightly different way, and perhaps use ad copy and a landing page that are slightly less targeted because we want to capture the attention of people who are coming from a wider range of search terms. If we step out one further step again, we've got what's called broad match modified, which is essentially a subtype of broad match. So what's this mean? Well, it's always shown in AdWords with the plus sign in front of one or more of the words in the key phrase. So I call it hidden match type because there isn't really anything separate. It's shown in AdWords reporting as broad. So it shows for relevant variations of your keyword, any word that has the plus sign in front of it must be in the search term. But if you have, say, a 3-word search string and only 2 of them have the plus sign in front, then you can get some interesting results. So as a result of that, you will show for things that are not in your keyword list. So for example, cosmetic plus dentist would show for emergency dentist because it includes the word dentist. It would also show for pediatric dentistry jobs, again because we include the stemming of the word dentist. Now if we had plus cosmetic plus dentist, we would not show for either of those terms because both of the words have to be in the search term if we had the plus in front of both of them. Similarly, if we had plus cosmetic, no plus for dentist, so plus cosmetic dentist, then we could show for cosmetic surgeon. And you get the idea. So whatever we have the plus sign in front of has to be in the key phrase. But it gives us more flexibility. You can imagine this as a much broader pool of searches than we have in phrase and exact. But now we've got a lot less idea what that searcher is searching for. We just know that it's something that includes words that we believe are relevant. So it will always be less targeted is more likely to convert less well than our highly targeted exact and slightly less well targeted phrase. Then we have broad match, which has no punctuation in AdWords, shows for relevant variations of your keywords and things that are not relevant for it. It's essentially saying to Google, show me things that show my ad for search terms that you think are related to what I put on my keyword list. So if we use the keyword cosmetic dentist, we could match orthodontist, we could match best dentist for cosmetic work, and a whole range of things that may shock and surprise you. It won't come as a great surprise to say we very rarely use broad match. Very rarely. It's certainly something not used in the 99% of our campaigns. So think about the way we use these terms. We use broad match for discovery because by going broad, same with broad match modified, we learn about key phrases we'd never thought of. So a great way to start a keyword list is to run some broad match modified traffic and see what happens. There's a cost to that test in the cost of wasted traffic potentially, but you will learn about a whole bunch of key phrases you never even thought of. We've then got phrase match, which is moderately targeted. And we've then got exact match, which is highly targeted. Now, with that, we know that the cost of broad is generally going to be lower than the cost of exact because you're giving Google free rein to show your ads for a lot more things. There is likely less competition on a broad match than on an exact. Unless you're targeting some really specific niche exact match keywords, you can pay a premium for them because they're the ones that lots of advertisers might be competing for and for which there are a finite, small number of searches. So look out for that. There are some markets you will come across where the premium you will pay for an exact match keyword is so much higher than for a broad or a phrase that actually you can't even run the exact and be competitive and be profitable. You have to run modified broad, we tend to run, and use negative keywords, which we'll come on to control the actual keyword matching. Not surprisingly, search volumes highest for broad match, lowest for exact match, because broad match is exactly that. It gives Google full permission to show your ads for anything. So that's the way this works. So when we're looking at our keywords, we want to have a blend of keywords like that are broad match modified that we're going to learn from, exact match that we're going to highly target. So with that said, take a look at your AdWords account, see what type you're using. When we go through this build as a process we're going to go through, I strongly suggest that by the end of it you are unlikely to be using broad match if you're using those right now. And most likely, we're going to take phrase match out as well. That's it for this exercise. Bye for now.